Thank you for joining me for this masterclass. It's the first step in understanding a revolutionary way to create a more balanced home life and to begin implementing the inner life parenting approach. My name is Raelee Peirce. I started working with parents as a parent educator in the not-for-profit sector after graduating from UNC Chapel Hill with a BA in Communication Studies. I worked for Prevent Child Abuse North Carolina, Healthy Families Indiana, Communities and Schools of Wake County, and most recently, the Emerson Waldorf School in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. My work with parents is informed by Kim John Payne, Dr. Gordon Neufeld, Lisa Miller, PhD, Micheline Duclef, PhD, as well as the spiritual perspective and teachings of the Baha'i Faith. Parents create the conditions for healthy development. Glenn and I agreed that one of us would be home with the kids, and I wanted the role. I started by trusting my own parenting intuition and common sense, but it wasn't long before I felt overwhelmed and so tired. Immediately, I became aware of where I needed to grow. I never understood the real meaning of patience, humility, and unconditional love until this journey of motherhood. I needed a how-to guide that would give me the practical steps that match what I knew intellectually and spiritually for creating a healthy home. I was fortunate to become familiar with Waldorf education, which eventually led me to discover Kim John Payne and Simplicity Parenting. I believe that the soul recognizes beauty. My soul immediately connected with this beautiful, practical blueprint for family life. With each small change I made, the rush of family life began to slow to a manageable pace. One of the first things that I did, the first small step of simplicity, was light a candle at dinner. We didn't even light a candle every night, but somehow that one simple step brought a calm that was powerful to mealtime. With these small steps of simplicity, as I began to learn more and more about how to implement things that reduced the overwhelm, my confidence as a mom grew, and with it, a deeper joy-filled experience of motherhood. I started to feel successful, flexible, and steady. It wasn't that it all became easy. Parenting is and will always be a humbling experience. It's that ultimately my focus was different. I was more clear about our family values. I was creating a family identity that grounded us through simplifying our home. The toys, the meals, the schedule, the screen time, and I was using the language of virtues to direct our kids and define what we value, understanding that the most powerful gift we could give our kids, as Dr. Gordon Neufeld says, was to feel known, truly known. I was more of the parent I wanted to be. So let's jump into today's content. In the next few slides, I'll be sharing with you the paradigm shift my approach invites you to make. Parents and the world of doctors and psychologists agree on what kids need to grow physically healthy and strong: nourishment, good sleep, movement, and hygiene. Many parents are confused and overwhelmed by the many philosophies about how to nurture their children toward maturity. The behavioral approach has been the default, and it's the idea that a child's behavior is shaped and maturity is taught. We have come to believe that essentially these tips and tricks and techniques will stop the defiant, impulsive, annoying, unreasonable, irresponsible, illogical behavior of our children. Many parents and grandparents and childcare providers would say that their primary role is to set rules, boundaries, and consequences using standard techniques like timeout, grounding, taking away privileges, unfortunately yelling, threatening, bribing, and creating reward systems. As you might know firsthand, if you've implemented any of these behavior controlling techniques, these approaches or this behavioral approach can easily backfire and increase tension and pushback from your kids. Not to mention, it's an exhausting model because it requires that parents control their child moment to moment. You have to be the enforcer or in that enforcer mode at any given time. So here's the shift. Let's just take a deep breath and be open to a completely different idea. Children are like seeds. They need the right warmth, the right nourishment, and protection to be able to behave in mature ways. When provided the right conditions and relationships, children naturally mature. Their mental health is stable, and they're both reachable and teachable. The parent prioritizes the relationship with their child rather than trying to control their behavior. This is called being in right relationship. The child seeks to be cared for, and the parent seeks to care for the child. As a result, the parent can easily direct, instruct, model, and guide their child or teen by being warm, firm, and calm. It's in this model, kids are ready for new responsibilities. They are helpful. They feel safe to communicate their feelings and share their questions. They grew up feeling truly known by their parents. They stay parent-oriented rather than peer-oriented as they grow into adolescence. So, now that we are understanding the shift we will be making in our own role as parents, let's explore how we start to practically implement a home that reflects this kind of approach. In these next slides, we'll learn why simplifying helps reduce emotional stress, improves behavior. We will understand the 5 keys to creating a balanced life and how to get started. With technology surrounding us in our homes, cars, on errands to the gas station, doctor's offices, and even at school, information about the world, regardless of developmental appropriateness, is pushing our kids more and more. As the author of Simplicity Parenting, Kim John Payne would say, there's an undeclared war on childhood. Our kids are experiencing too much, too soon, too sexy, too young. This constant flow of information, activities, books, toys, clothes, food, technology is creating what Kim has coined CSR, or cumulative stress reaction. Unfortunately, the constant flow is describing most daily lives. It isn't that childhood is meant to be stress-free. We know life isn't a series of rainbow moments. Kids get sick, and there are losses and sorrows along the way. It's that our lives have become nonstop. The pace is increasingly misaligned with the pace of childhood. Much like this glass of water, the flow is too much for the container. The result is that the spillage is the behavior that we don't want from both ourselves and our kids. The approach of simplicity parenting will show you how to turn down the tap of the constant flow of information, activities, books, toys, clothes, food, technology, so that we can prevent CSR, or cumulative stress reaction, in our kids. It will also help you shift from controlling your kids to connecting with them. When kids' days are more predictable and their environment less overwhelming, their behavior improves. Kim says they return to a reachable and teachable state. Let's jump in, the 5 keys to more balance. Key 1, the easiest and best way to start simplifying, according to Kim John Payne, is to declutter and organize. The idea here is that 1 stuffed monkey on the bed is fun and sweet. 10 stuffed monkeys on the bed is chaos. Less is more when it comes to life with kids. Deeper, kinder, more cooperative play can be had with less. Streamline the amount of toys, books, activities, and screen time that your kids have access to with the intention of relieving the overwhelm of a day too much too soon. A simpler space with less allows for more room for creativity. There's something also very spiritual about a clean and tidy space. All right, so we're going to have a little story time and my relationship with Key One, my battle with toy fads. So I think I gained the most value from learning more about simplifying stuff by Kim's advice to avoid fads. At the time, the biggest fads for my first and fourth graders were Webkins, the Rainbow Loom, My Little Pony, and Silly Bands. I don't know if any of you remember any of these, but I admit that I wasn't 100% successful at keeping all these fads at bay, but it gave me incredible food for thought around getting caught up in the frenzy with my kids. I did have to face the fact that my kids are not acquiring toys and books by themselves. I was at the center of what they accumulated, and I could do better about protecting them from this frivolous consumerism. On one hand, it's easy to purge the toys, especially the younger the kids are. But on the other hand, there seemed to always be a constant flow of toys that I had to manage with the annual birthday celebrations and holidays. It takes a new mindset about stuff to really get a handle on it. All right, key 2, create connecting rhythms and rituals. Elements of a morning rhythm can be points of connection rather than moments of meltdowns. Instead of creating days filled with activities, turn the tasks of the day into the activity of the day and recognize your kids as real contributors rather than thinking they need to be entertained. Taking care of your home, your pets, eating well, and connecting with each other, it all takes time and space to accomplish. Okay, so again, story time, creating rhythms that stick. So for us, I have to say, the award goes to Glenn on this one. We consulted about a connecting weekly rhythm he could have with both kids on Saturday mornings. This gave me a much needed break, and it gave him the opportunity to spend regular quality time with them. Starting when Keaton was about 2 and Isabel was around 5, they would go to breakfast at Waffle House and then to the library or Home Depot every Saturday morning. Glenn chose these spots because they are 3 of his favorite places. This ritual continued through middle school, and even now into their teens, when the kids want to talk with their dad, they will often suggest Waffle House. The best rhythms and rituals come out of sharing in something you as a parent or grandparent love to do, that you're sharing with the child or the teen. If you like baking or cooking, if you love bookstores or the farmer's market, I think we get stuck trying to connect with our kids doing a child-centric activity that we don't really want to do, rather than including them in our world. Okay, let's move into key 3, create more calm and connection in the daily and weekly schedule. Basically, schedule a break in the schedule. Establish intervals of calm and connection in your child's daily torrent of constant doing. Stop and read a story together, watch the clouds float by, stop to watch a bug crawl. The younger the child, the more free time he or she needs from activity. Balance your days by sandwiching in a high-level activity with calm intervals before and after. Have a busy Tuesday. Intentionally make sure Monday and Wednesday are lighter days. Okay, so my story time for schedule. My after school break in the schedule. The time after school and before we started dinner was always tricky in the daily schedule for me. The kids had energy and I was tired. So my solution, trampoline jumping for them while I rested on the hammock. So most days the weather was great. We do live in North Carolina. And for this after school break in the schedule, I asked about their day while they jumped and got their wiggles out, and I relaxed horizontally before we all headed inside to make dinner. So it doesn't have to be complicated. Pick something that they would enjoy, pick something you would enjoy. A break in the schedule. All right, key 4. So one way in which we protect our children, especially in their first few years, is to act as a filter. Filter adult conversation and screen time. When a child feels safe and connected to their parents, they're able to optimally develop toward maturity. Without high levels of cortisol, the child can regulate their emotions. That means less tantrums and meltdowns for you. So whether it's adult conversations about bills and mortgage or rent payments, or it's a graphic news story on the radio on the way to school about the latest shooting, it's important that we protect what our kids hear and see based on their age. So for this one, I was really grateful for our school's screen time policy. No screens during the school week. Yeah, so that helped out a great deal. This meant that the TV, computer, the smartphone access, it wasn't available Sunday through Thursday for them. Not for me, but for them. We might watch, we might have watched a family movie on Friday or Saturday night. The kids did get up around 6 in the morning on weekends, so we did allow them some Saturday morning cartoons. And as a result of this home policy, they were much more creative in their play, crafting, drawing, practicing instruments, knitting, and being outdoors. So that was a way that we implemented key 4. Key 5, create value-centered leadership. One size of parenting does not fit all. My way or the highway for your teen is not appropriate, but nor is giving your toddler too many choices. Your goal is to help your children grow up without believing the world revolves around them, but rather that they can contribute to the world. That is what it means to move from child-centric to values-based parenting. Initially, you will parent your young child by setting an example yourself. You will be creating a predictable day, a day-to-day life at this early stage, modeling how things are done, and letting them try with your help. They need you to lead at this age. Choices can be too much for them. Instruct and direct them. As your child grows into elementary school, you will teach them the language of virtues. Thank you for your patience. I know that we have been waiting a long time, or I need your cooperation with your sister to set the table. By middle school, consider them part of your team. They will be able to handle tasks independently that help the household, and older siblings can accompany younger siblings. You can collaborate and consult, but they still need your direction and wisdom to make decisions. Now, at the high school age and beyond, they need you as a mentor. It's your job to help them stay accountable to their own goals, not your goals, their goals. Find out what those goals are. They seek your support and your trust. They need you to let them make some mistakes without harsh criticism. So in terms of how we made this work, this is not a picture of us, but I just loved how this family looked like they were staying connected. So striving to parent with a values-based approach has allowed Glenn and I to stay self-reflective, I think. It isn't easy to, not to take a tween or a teen's behavior personally, or to not want to impose consequences when we don't feel like we're getting enough help around the house. But coming back to the relationship with my children who became tweens and who are now a teen and a young adult has always been the right decision. I am enjoying the guide phase. We had the governor phase in the early days, and then the gardener phase, and now we're in this guide phase. That's all good stuff that you'll learn in the Soul of Discipline course. But, it's hard work too to be in this guide phase. It's at this phase that Glenn and I are trying to figure out how to support our older kids and also let them make decisions, but not be afraid of failure. And it's a delicate dance. It's definitely keeping us on our toes. All right, so to recap the inner life approach for your family, here are the 5 keys. Start with decluttering and organizing your spaces. Create connecting rhythms and rituals. Create more calm and connection in the daily and weekly schedule. Filter adult conversation and screen time. And create value-centered leadership. So if you want to learn to cut out child-centric activities and replace them with family values-based tasks, errands, and activities, connect your family values to your discipline, establish loving age-sensitive boundaries that help kids feel safe and settled, eliminate chore and star charts, threats, yelling, timeout, and control tactics to reduce the stress in your home environment, replace praise with acknowledgement and understand how this increases your child's will, filter and decrease the information and technology overload, increase rhythm in your everyday routines and create more balanced downtime, learn to be warm and nurturing while also calm and firm, then you can get started. So the good news is I've given you enough here to get started. You know the 5 keys. You can put the pieces together and begin implementing these ideas right away. No further support needed. Now, if you are someone who feels like, no, I think I might need more support, no worries. If you feel like you need more time and space to digest this approach and learn step by step, I got you. So you would want to become a member, essentially, an inner life parenting member, and that will give you access to the Simplicity Parenting virtual course and learn how to simplify today through detailed instruction and accountability. So families who have taken the course and implemented the 5 keys into their home life experience, they have reported a transformation. They use words to describe their home before and after. Actually, I felt the same as a parent, and I know that you will too. So before simplifying, days lack predictability, our emotions were running high, parents are controlling and rigid, or they're too lenient and chaotic. Parents prevent boredom. Parents and or kids are overscheduled. But after simplifying, what we're seeing as families and parents, predictable daily rhythms, calmer emotional climate, parents are confident, flexible, family members have more space and time, and family life feels safe and balanced. Here are three of the parents in my workshops over the years, and I've had the opportunity to share aspects of this approach with parents. So here are their testimonials. From Sarah, she says, Raelee, your parenting seminars were life-changing for our family. You have decreased yelling and increased the peace in our home immeasurably. Nina says, I gained a sense that creating a calm and centered home life is achievable. And Corey said, I loved how this content made me more intentional about parenting. I really feel so much more on track as a mother now. So if you have learned in today's class something of a home life that you're really craving, I would love to connect with you in the next step. So I'm offering everyone who's interested in finding, this ease and joy, and this love of play and the space and time to do all of it, a connection with me in a one-on-one discovery call. So regardless if you're new to the developmental values-based approach or you've been steeping in it for a while, you will receive a link to my discovery call calendar in your email, and it's a free 40-minute one-on-one session with me. So we can get to know each other. I can learn more about what would support you, what would help you in your parenting, and we can figure out together if there's something that I can offer to move forward with you in that way. My goal is to be your one-stop shop for this parenting approach. I can use my expertise and, of course, my connection to my parenting path to support you. So I hope that you will take advantage of this free one-on-one discovery call with me. And of course, if we decide together that moving forward doesn't make sense, that's great too. I love talking with parents. It's what I live for. I would love to talk with you. So hope to see you, and thank you so much for watching. And I look forward to meeting you and talking with you. Have a wonderful day.